Welcome to the third online training session for the Startup Method on evaluating your business ideas. So the big question is, how do you know if a business idea is good? Well, according to the science, what we know is that certain ideas have a higher chance of success than certain other ideas. In fact, statistical models are reasonably good at predicting who's going to succeed or fail as an entrepreneur. The studies have shown that about 90% of entrepreneurs with great ideas and the right experience tend to survive a 3-year period, where only about 30% of entrepreneurs with poor business ideas and none of the right knowledge and experience tend to survive a 3-year period. Also, we found that VCs are actually getting quite good at predicting which businesses will succeed and fail. So in a study done by Grompus in the US, they looked at 9,000 venture capital backed startups and found that about 1 in 4 or 25% of those ended up listed on the stock exchange, which is the ideal measure of entrepreneurial success. So reasonably good that 1 in 4 of those entrepreneurs become super successes. Also, what we know is that very good entrepreneurs that have much business experience, are reasonably good at predicting whether they're going to succeed or fail. Once they have started a number of successful businesses, the likelihood that they will start another successful business is very high. So how do these entrepreneurs evaluate ideas? Well, the first question they ask is, can they do it? So a lot of famous people like Stephen Covey says you must begin with the end in mind, or Brian Tracy says that failing to plan is planning to fail, or Tony Robbins says that you need to start with a specific result. So what they are advocating is that you start over here with your market research, find a gap in the market that becomes your vision. You then find out what knowledge you need, what people you need, what resources you need, and then you put together a plan, and then you go ahead and implement that until you achieve your vision. So to give you a chef example, if you were a chef, what you would do is go and first decide what meal you wanted to cook. You would then go and buy a recipe book, find out what's the best way to cook that meal. You would then go and hire some experienced chefs, buy all the equipment and ingredients, and then you would cook up this amazing meal. Well, a lot of entrepreneurship research shows that these guys are wrong, that really good entrepreneurs actually don't think like that. So Sar Savathi, a researcher, did research on 27 entrepreneurs that on average were doing about $1 billion turnover. Their business was. They on average started about 20 startups, and each of them had at least listed one company on a stock exchange. So their principle that they're using is actually bird in the hand principle. So as opposed to starting with their goals, what they do is they actually go and look at what opportunities they currently have around them, what resources they have, what knowledge they have, and what people that they currently know. They then add that all together to then come up with a business idea. So if we took the chef example again, they would take their knowledge of cooking, the ingredients on hand, the equipment that is available, and the people that they know, and then whip up a meal. So if they all had to whip up a meal, what they would do is walk into their own kitchen. They would then say, okay, well, open the cupboard, let's see what's in the fridge, put that in together. If a mate walks in, they'd say, hey, come and help me cook. Now, there are a number of advantages of thinking like that as opposed to planning ahead, is that what you do is you can start with what you have and you can get going today, which is very important as an entrepreneur. We need to make it happen now. We can't be waiting for the perfect circumstances. A famous example of that is Mark Zuckerberg, where what he did is, if you looked at Facebook, it initially came from CourseMatch, a company he had built for Harvard, a program he had built for Harvard, FaceMash, a company which almost got him kicked out, where what he did is created a website where it would rank the different, would get you to rate the looks of different students. He partnered with his friends. His students were his customers, and he got some of the idea from the Harvard connection who he did some work with. So very much Facebook was using what Zuckerberg actually had around him. It wasn't some idea to take over the world initially when it started. So some questions to ask before you start your business is, how much money is needed to start in the business, and what percentage of the money do I have? Now, ideally, a great business idea, you should have all the money needed to start the business. If you have none of the money that you need to start that business, it's probably a good idea to maybe look at starting a different business. The next thing is, do you have the knowledge to start the business? And what percent of that knowledge do you have? Obviously, if you have 100% of the knowledge, you can just start it today. If you don't, well, then it means you have to go out and do some work. Fortunately, over the course, we can gain the knowledge that's reasonably easy to get. An important one is, do you have the physical resources? These are things like equipment, vehicles, buildings to start your business, and what percentage of those do you have? So ideally, what you want to do is, again, have 100% of those physical resources. Same with people and contacts. Do you have the people and contacts necessary to start your business? If not, maybe you should be looking at another idea. So the second question that you should be asking is, will you do it? Very important question. So what we find is most very successful entrepreneurs talk about doing what they love, or really actually wanting to do their business. So here's the founder of eBay. He says, I was pursuing my passion. Or Richard Branson recommends start your business around something that is a passion of yours. This is Mr. Singh, a South African entrepreneur. He says that you must be passionate. So it's very important to do something that you're actually going to do. Here's a video by Steve Jobs where he gives some advice on what's the importance of doing something that you actually want to do. So here are some questions to think about before pursuing that idea. How certain are you that you want to start this business? Are you 100% certain, or it's something that you're not really that interested in? How certain are you that you can start this business? If you've got no belief that you can actually start the business, maybe you should look at some other business idea where you actually believe that you can get this business up and running. Another question to ask is, how certain are you that you will start this business? Do you actually have the discipline to start the business? If you don't, maybe you should rather be looking for a job. If you don't believe that you have the discipline to actually do the work that needs to be done every day, maybe you should be looking to do something else. And how certain are you that you have the time to start this business? So if you have no time to start the business, probably not a chance that you actually will. The third way that great entrepreneurs evaluate their business is they ask, will people buy it? And this is probably the most important question. So what we find is that when they've researched entrepreneurs, they find that companies which have high first-year sales tend to become high-growth companies. So in this study done on 500 businesses which were followed over 5 years, what they found is that those businesses which had high annual sales, this line over here, tended to become very successful, where the businesses which didn't have high initial sales took a far longer time to actually become successful. What they've done here is they've broken up this into growth businesses, and these are lifestyle businesses, so people who actually had no plans to grow. So very important to pick a business idea that the market actually wants. If you look at some practical examples, this is Mo Ibrahim, the founder of Celtel. When he launched his company, his first company, Mobile Systems International, he managed to sell 2 years of consulting time in the first 2 weeks. So there was a massive demand for his business. Again, if you look at Facebook, in the first couple of weeks, more than half of Harvard signed up. There was a massive demand for Facebook. People really wanted the product. So how do you test if someone wants it? Well, you go and test customer interest before launching. So you just go and talk to a couple of customers and you ask them, would you be interested in purchasing this product? And what you'll find is you'll get 1 of 4 reactions that they're so excited about it that they're going to pre-order, pay now, pay in advance, or they're going to say they'll buy once it's released. So that's good. If you're getting response 2 or response 1 that they're actually not interested in purchasing, or they might purchase but you would have to change something, well then it's probably you need to look at the but and see why they wouldn't purchase, and then maybe try